Hey there, and welcome to the podcast Tiling Connect, hosted by Mark Moskwa. This show is designed to connect people with the best information intended to strengthen the business of tiling. To keep up to date with all the episodes, don't forget to subscribe.
Tiling Connect is brought to you by Lux's Grates, the leaders in aluminium drainage, which are UV stable, rust proof and customisable on site. Available at your local tile or plumbing shop. Hey everybody, Mark here from Tiling Connect. Welcome to another episode, and I'll tell you it's the wrap up and the last episode for 2023. So let's get into it and go over some stuff today. We're going to do a very brief wrap up on Tiling Connect and how we performed this year. And then we're going to jump into one of my favourite topics, which is really all about doing an annual review on yourself and your business and setting yourself up for success in 2024 and beyond. So I think, fittingly, what would be really good to do is just do a really quick reflection on how Tiling Connect performed in 2023. And look, it was a great year. We had 25 guests on throughout the year, so pretty big number. Super happy and excited that so many people were able to donate their time, get onto an episode, and strengthen the business of tiling, as we like to coin it. Throughout the year we had waterproofing, tiling, screeding, design, technical roles. We have building products consultants, digital media, and a flavour from some retail showrooms as well. So a big thank you to all of those people that made some time. We had over 1,000 minutes of content created in 2023, so it's a pretty amazing effort. The podcast has been listened to globally in over 17 countries, so that's huge. It's our second year. It's our first full year, but second year in production. So pretty stoked with that result, and bigger things to come. We've had 2 international guests on the show, so that was pretty massive. So big thank you and a big shout out to those that were on the program this year. And there've been dozens of DMs of support and encouragement from professional contractors, guests, and listeners. And this is really humbling to hear. There was many messages that I received via some of the social media channels from contractors, and they were really heartfelt about the sort of impact that the podcast was having on their ability to get up every day and get on the tools and do what they do. So a big thank you to all of those people that have reached out, and please don't stop doing that. If you want to reach out, feel free, send us a DM, whether it's about a particular episode or you want to jump on the show because you think you've got a great story to tell. We want to hear from you, really. We really do. We had a brand new platinum partner join us this year, Lux's Grates, who are an amazing company who make a terrific product. They joined us as our foundation platinum partner in July of 2023. We developed new connections with many great people over many different industries, which was a big. It's massive. It's just huge to be able to connect in with so many like-minded people that have a vision of wanting to improve the industry and make it greater and better for everybody. In particular, developing the industry for the generations that are yet to join tiling. We grew our social media by approximately 20%. Our social media community, I should say, by about 20%. So that was huge as well. And why that is so important to us is that the more the community is growing, the wider the message is reaching the people that it needs to get to, and we can make an even more positive impact on the tiling community, on the tiling sector and the tiling industry, particularly in Australia. I've personally learned a lot this year through the podcast. I've learned a ton about editing, filming, creating content, with more in-depth questioning and interview techniques, and I'm loving that. That's really awesome. It it puts me well and truly outside of my comfort zone, and I really enjoy learning more about that. So can't wait until next year when we kick off again and we get started and we can go on, get on that roller coaster again, and away we go. But overall, I mean, looking back on 2023 and having all these amazing conversations with different people, and it's just so rewarding to see the impact that we're having on the tiling industry and that we're strengthening the business of tiling. That's so important. That'll be our mantra forever. And whilst we hold that close to our hearts, I'm sure that every day and every week and every month and every year that we do this, we'll achieve our long-term vision of strengthening the business of tiling. 2024, it's gearing up for another terrific year. I've already spoken to a number of guests who will be coming on the show, and we'll kick off with an in-depth look at the new AS3958 2023. So this is the installation of ceramic and stone tiles. We'll speak with one of the committee members who's responsible, and there's many committee members that were responsible for this, but certainly we'll be speaking to one of them who was involved in the crafting of these new standards. And look, it's been a long time between drinks. The last standards were developed prior to, but released in 2007. So we're looking at a long time between standards being updated. And when the guest comes on next year, we'll be able to sit down with them and talk about what are the more prominent changes that have been made, and and get a bit more of an understanding of the impact that these standards will have on the improvement or the enhancing of tiling practices out there in the marketplace. So I thought that there wouldn't be what I wanted to share with you today really as well, beyond the wrap-up, because that's a wrap-up, right? I could sit here forever and talk about it, but what I wanted to share with you, which was a little bit about how I conduct, my annual life review, and how I set up a new year for success, so to speak. So I've got a little bit of a blueprint here, and it's got a number of different points to it. So I'm going to speak through that now and share some information with you about how you can go about doing that. And it's really about how I look at how I've achieved things throughout the year. And so I suppose the first thing I want to talk about before we really have a look at that is there's some real prominent questions that I've created, that I've written down, that I'm going to share with you now, because it's always good to sit down and have a bit of self-reflection. And by asking yourself these questions, you can elicit some more deeper meaning around what you want to achieve in the near future. So I think it's a good reflection piece, and look at it. These questions apply to many people. They can apply to someone that has a career. And when I say career, they're an employee, or it can be a sole trader running their business. So the big thing with this sort of project or this sort of activity is, if you're like me, it's always good to have a whole bunch of scrap paper or a notepad and a pen, and so that you can take notes and write things down when you're asking yourself these questions and preparing your information for next year. So I think some of the things that you should really need to look at are like, how do you think? So the first question to ask yourself: how do you think you're going generally in your job? Are you performing well? Is your business achieving everything that it needed to? If you're a tiling a sole trader and you have a tiling business, has your tiling business met its profitability criteria for 2023? And that might be something that would resonate with that first question. If you're an employee, how do you think you're going generally in your job? Give yourself a rating, 1 out of 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. Where do you think you sit in the scale of how you think you're doing? So it gives you a base for starting for looking for ways to improve, to be better. Because you've always got to look, if you're like me, you would want to be looking for how do I achieve 1% better every day that I'm doing what I'm doing. And that's, if you can get 1% better every day, that's massive. Like when you add that up over 365 days, you are literally about, I think it's about 22% more productive and better than you were the previous year. And when you're doing that, when you're becoming 1% better every day, you're achieving greater things and you're exploring more goals and you're seeing more of the world and your accomplishments are much wider and further. So, and another really good question to ask is what things do you think you do well? So list them down. List down what do you do well, what works, what doesn't work, what don't you do well, and what can you improve on? So these are some really, really good questions about, this is real self-analysis stuff, and you need to be pragmatic, but be a bit critical, but not, don't beat yourself up, but you certainly need to understand where you're strong and where you're not. It's a little bit like in business. In business, when you're performing a bit of an analysis on the performance of a business, one of the more common tools that people use is a SWOT analysis, where there's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And that's really good to understand what you're good at, weaknesses where you're not so good and where you can improve, opportunities for growth, and threats are the external factors outside of the business that potentially may impact the performance of the business or the performance of the employee. So looking at what training or support do you think you need to do a better job? So if you're a business owner as a sole trader, what particular things do you need to operate your business more effectively? Do you need to attend some training courses? You may be an amazing contractor with, a team of people around you, but you might need ways to streamline a particular part of your business. You may need some training for your staff on particular methodologies that may help improve productivity. So there's some things there that you can look at. They might be financial. It might be an accounting thing. It could be a digital marketing piece for your business. So these are some of the things that you should consider as areas of what you can do to do your job better. And same goes with an employee. Training is sort of the foundation of becoming a better person. So it may be going back to TAFE or uni and learning a particular course, or it might be some sort of external study in a personal development or growth mindset course that will help you propel your results faster, quicker, and better. Really, really important. What are your ambitions, hopes and ambitions for the business, and or if you're an employee? So what do you want to achieve next year? That's so important. And I mentioned earlier about writing things down. Writing things down is super, super critical. The reason, well, I shouldn't say critical, it's super crucial. And the reason why it's super crucial is when you've got it written down, or if you're not a writer and you have to type it into a MacBook or on a PC or something like that, still have it there. You need to make sure that your vision for the business is well and truly mapped out from a blueprint perspective. And the reason for that is that you need to know where you're going to go. It's all good and well to jump in the car and start driving somewhere, but if you don't have a destination, how are you ever going to get there? It's the same when you're operating a business, whether it be a 1 million, 5 million, or a half a billion dollar company. There needs to be a destination, and that destination usually is the vision and mission of the business. So being a sole trader, you need to know where that's going to be. It may be that you're going to double the revenue of your business in 2024. Now, if you're going to do that, you're going to need some tools to get there. You just can't keep doing the same thing you did this year and expect that that result's going to happen. And if that result magically did happen, I'm sure that the structure of the business may not be able to handle that growth. So you need to have a map for that. So the other thing is, what do you need to work on to help realize those ambitions and progress in your career or business? So sometimes you need some assistance, and it might be from a friend or a colleague or someone in business that can actually help you unpack and realize what those ambitions and goals are for the business. So that's really important too. And lastly, but certainly not final, because there's many things to this, who's on your team? This is really important. By that I mean, who's your accountability partner? So you need to have someone that holds you accountable for the actions that you're taking. So make sure that you've got someone who's holding you accountable for your blueprint and your map of your business and what that's going to look like next year. And I think that it sort of sums it up beautifully, is that who are you associating with in your environment? And this is really important, because you want people that lift you up and aspire you to be greater than you are. And you're all amazing individuals, but you want people around you in it's a little bit like a boxing ring. And you've got, your trainers and coaches in the corner of the ring, and they're coaching you every step of the way through that fight. They're the types of people that want you to be super successful in every match that you're in. And that's what you want, because generally speaking, we are the version of 5 people that we spend the most time with. And that's so powerful. If you're associating with people that don't lift you up, that is absolutely just going to be a weight that's going to hold you back from reaching your ultimate potential. So make sure that those 5 people that you're associating with are people that are lifting you up and pushing you to get to your goals. Now, you're probably going to get some critical feedback along the way, and that's perfectly okay, because that feedback will help make you better, stronger, faster, and quicker. So look, just some questions to ask yourself. Write a heap of information down. Pretend you're back in school, in grade 7 and 8, when you had to do some stuff and you're writing stuff down. Just go crazy, because the information, once it's out of your mind and on paper, you can see it. And once you can visualize it, then you can understand how to actually use the bits and pieces of information that's on that paper and craft what I would call life by design. Now, life by design is something that I've lived by for many, many years, and it's about designing the life that I want. And what I'm going to share with you now is just a template for how I structure my annual review and set myself up for success in the following year. So for me, the very first thing that I have is I live my life by my Google Calendar. And my Google Calendar basically tells me where I need to be, what I need to do, and how I need to do it. Because if it's not in the calendar, it's not happening. So if it's not scheduled, it doesn't happen. I set aside a day minimum and time to sit down with my MacBook, pen and paper, notepad, scrap paper, whatever, and my mobile phone, because there's an important reason for that. So stepping back just for a second, so we're going to write down all the personal and professional achievements throughout the year, and the reason why the mobile phone is so handy is that we all live in a digital world now, and I think a lot of us, I know that I do, I live my life by pictures and videos. So it helps me remember all of the really cool, extraordinary things that I've done throughout the year. And from that photo or video, then other things fall into place for my memory. And I'm like, need to write that down. So make sure that you've got that there. You want to write down all of the extraordinary things that have happened to you throughout the year, all of the amazing things. And also, don't be afraid to write down anything that was confronting, anything that happened that wasn't great, yet it's something that's of significance and importance, because a lot of those times when you face that, when you encounter that really tough moment in life, they're some of the greatest moments you learn from. So it's really important. If you feel comfortable, put that down as well, because you reflect on that, and that will help you craft what the following year looks like. So step 1 is a perfect reflection of the past 12 months. A brief word from our sponsor. Are you looking for a water drainage solution that serves its purpose and adds a touch of elegance to your space? Lux's Grates are here to revolutionise your indoor and outdoor applications. Whether it's a shower, bathroom, balcony, pool, or any other area, Lux's Grates is the ideal choice. It's quick and easy installation that you can bang out in just over an hour. Their standard grates offer a classic and timeless look, while the next generation style adds a modern twist to your space. Lux's Grates are made of high quality anodised aluminium, ensuring durability and longevity. Step 2. So it's step 1, step 2. Write down a list of all of the things that you want to accomplish in the next 12 months. And I suppose the other thing too, beyond the list of all the things that you want to accomplish in the next 12 months, don't be shy around putting down things that you want to achieve in the next 2, 3, 5, or 10 years as well. Now, we don't want to focus a great deal on that future piece right now, but you certainly want to keep an eye on it, because it's going to create, what you do today is going to create the future, right? So the next 12 months will then be another pillar of growth into your future goals or vision that you have for yourself and or for your business. So while we're talking about step 1 and step 2 and all of these pieces, this can be applied for your business or your personal life. There's no difference between either or. They are literally the same, and you can use the same principles that we're talking about today for both facets of your life. So it's important not to overload yourself. This is really critical. You want to get creative and you want to have a good list of things to do, and that's perfectly okay. But don't overload yourself. Don't go crazy. Don't put 300-400 things down, because trying to achieve 300-400 things in 12 months is unattainable. So just keep the list. Yeah, go creative. Just don't go too crazy. let's just go there. Most people, this is a really cool saying, and it's certainly not my saying, but I think most people will overestimate what they can achieve in 1 year, but underestimate what they can achieve in a lifetime. So keep your long-term vision in mind. This is really important as we move forward through this process. So step 3, it's ideal to have a vision for what you want your life to look like in the future, because what you do today determines how it will be shaped. Don't hold back on what you want. Make a list. Make the list specific and attainable. Yeah, put some big ticket items on the list. That's really important. So we talked a little bit about that before. And there might be things like learning a new language, and we spoke about this earlier, doubling your business revenue in the next 12 months, it can be achieved, but you need to have the right practices, right steps in place, and the right support mechanisms and the right tools. Step 3. The way I do it is I then will separate the list that I've done into certain categories so that I can clearly see the focus points for my life. So career and or business, relationships and family. So career and business being, if you're a sole trader, or if you're an employee of the company, what does that career look like for you? What role do you want to aspire to achieve next year in your business? It could be, growing your business by X amount of revenue. It could be growing your business by putting on X amount of new staff. It could be expanding your business into other states or territories. So there's some ideas, but relationships and family, extracurricular time. So any hobbies, so, what do you want to focus? What hobbies do you want to focus on next year? Health and fitness, which is really important. Financial health. Financial health is another really, really important one. and self-care or personal development. So these are the categories that I have, and just sharing those with you. You may have other categories or some alternative categories that you want to use, but certainly you want to then grab the list of things that you've written and bucket them into different categories based upon those examples or the ones that you have. So step 4, you need to rank. I think it's important to rank in order of priority, so high, medium, or low priority, and this will help you determine what's most important to you and where you genuinely want to focus your energy next year. So you may look at the list and go, look, I've listed some things here. I've ranked them from high, medium, and low, but certainly within a particular bucket, there might only be a few high and the rest are all low. And that will help you determine what you really and genuinely want to focus on next year, because if they were more important to you, you would have ranked them higher. So this will just give you an opportunity to really narrow down in on some of the things that you want to achieve that are realistic and attainable throughout the year. This process will also shed some light on the additional resources that you're going to need. And that's really important because there's always going to be additional resources that you need to get to make progress. So as I've mentioned before, you won't be able to always do what you've done to get a different result. You'll need to do things differently next year to make those quantifiable changes and progress forward rapidly. Another vital thing is to know how much time you think that these particular tasks will take. And that's really important, because if you can put a time block, whether it be 1 hour, 2 hour, 10 hours, 20 hours, and of course, depending upon the size of the task, will depend upon how much time you think it may take. But when you add up the time against all of those tasks in all of those different buckets, there's going to be a lot of work to do. So that'll give you a real deep understanding of what's going to be required to make it all happen. Once you've finished your list with all the extra information, it's time to identify the best way to schedule your objectives. So give yourself the best chance of success. I use Trello. Trello is my go-to platform. There's others out there, but I find Trello really easy to use. It's accessible via digital as well. And it's a great platform to set up your board so you can track all your projects and add commentary, add images. You can set reminders. You can link particular websites. So I know it sounds very business focused, but certainly I use it for all 7 or 8 buckets that I have in my life, and I find it a really, really useful tool. And I get so it's linked to my Gmail account, and I get reminders that I've set in Trello. And while I do look at my goals 2-3 times a week, in some weeks more often than others, the email reminders come through for me to do a overall review on particular tasks that I've set, or goals, whatever you want to call them. And it's a really helpful thing to have that reminder there coming through to your email, so you can actually pick it up when it hits your inbox and do a complete review. You can also get, we talked about images. When you upload everything in Trello or a similar platform, ensure you are specific with each task. This is really important. So you want things to be specific, so and make sure they're attainable, measurable, and realistic. These are just some really key words around what you want to achieve, and applying that sort of motto to everything that you want to do and everything that you want to achieve. The more detail, the better. It will keep you focused. So be very specific. If there's a number that you want to hit, what's the number? And that can be revenue growth, that can be staffing numbers, that can be, to use a common one, it could be with health and fitness, it could be a weight number that you want to hit. What is the number? There's no good just saying, I want to double my business in 2024 and then leave it at that. Well, how do you know what that number is? I mean, you may know, but you really for it to have meaning, it has to be specific. You have to be able to visualize it and see it so that you go, wow, okay, I actually want to double my revenue by 10 million. I did 5 million last year. You want to see that 10 million down on paper or in, your Trello board. It needs to have real heartfelt meaning so that you go after it and chase it. Finally, it's crucial, and this again, without deep diving into everything today, it's really, really crucial to celebrate the wins throughout the year. Make sure you schedule time every 4 to 6 weeks to do this. Step away from everything, and you don't have to do this, but it's really important to do this because you have to switch off, and that includes digital media. Take time away from the hustle and bustle of everything that you do. It can be a weekend. You could jump in the car with the family. You could go camping. You could go hiking. There's so many things that you can do. You could go mountain bike riding. It's a pretty unlimited depth of things that you could do. It could be 2 days of fishing with mates. But certainly every 4 to 6 weeks, you need to take that break. You need to recharge your batteries, and you need to make sure you give yourself time to celebrate the wins and successes that you get along the way so that you're not working 24/7, 365 days for the year, because you will end up burning out, and you will not be effective for anybody. You will not be effective for yourself, your family, your friends, or your business. So keep that in mind. Spend that time in yourself and with your family so that you can recharge the battery and jump back on for the next 4 to 6 week cycle. So look, that was just a little bit on how I structure my my annual review. It wasn't there is a lot more there, and certainly happy to share some more information with people. If anyone wants to discuss these steps in more detail, you can connect with me directly at tilingconnect@gmail.com. I can help with more content and tips on designing an excellent 2024. But I just want to share with you as well 3 books that I've enjoyed in 2023. Now, if you're not a reader, I've got some podcasts that I've been listening to this year that are pretty cool, but I'm sure you are all very well versed on on a lot of this. So Atomic Habits by James Clear is one. Really, really awesome book. It simplifies that you can create long-lasting and fulfilling change by making minuscule changes, and minuscule changes by building these habits, starting small and then getting big. It's a pretty powerful and impactful book. If you're not a reader, you'll certainly find it on audiobooks as well, so you could throw it on in the car. Second is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. We spend way too much time giving a fuck about things that don't matter to us or impact our way of life, and that's pretty much the core I found was the core meaning behind the book, and I highly recommend that one. The Power of When by Dr. Michael Bruce. This is a really, really deep and meaningful audio book. It's really about working out your internal body clock and understanding your internal body clock and understanding what that is, to know when to do everything optimally in your life, from sleeping to taking medication to eating food, just everything. It's incredible. So there are some books that I've enjoyed this year. There are 3 podcasts I've enjoyed in 2023. Straight Talk with Mark Bouris is a really good one. The Joe Rogan Experience, and On Purpose with Jay Shetty. They're my 3 big ones. I've been listening to them a lot this year, and they've been very helpful, but I'm certain that you've got a whole bunch of ones that you've been listening to out there as well. But that's a wrap for 2023. So I just wanted to take another opportunity to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart. Thank you all for being a part of this incredible podcast community. Your support, your feedback, engagement have meant the world to me, and I couldn't have done it without every single one of you. It's because of you that this podcast has grown and has developed over the last 12 months and thrived. You know, it's been an incredible journey, and it's our first full 12 months, and we're still young in the world of podcasts, and I can't wait to deliver an amazing content next year for us in an effort to strengthen the business of tiling. I'm grateful for the opportunity to connect in with so many amazing people and outstanding individuals and share stories. So together, I think we've created something extraordinary. Thank you for being a part of this journey. And as we like to wrap up with all of our episodes, and until next time, stay connected.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Tiling Connect. Don't forget to rate and review this podcast. To see more of Tiling Connect, jump on our socials and follow us via LinkedIn, Instagram and Facebook. If you'd like to be part of the show, email us at tilingconnect@gmail.com. Until next time, stay connected.